Well, it is very common to hear people compare the war in Ukraine to World War II, and Poland finds itself once again in the center of the fight.
But this time around, it seems to be ground zero for humanity and kindness. Recently, several representatives traveled from Cleveland to the Poland-Ukraine border to see how the community is stepping in to help refugees. And Maureen Kyle reports.
It turned back time, living in the times of World War II, just seeing teams of people streaming across the border.
As refugees fled, J. David Heller was standing just over the Ukrainian-Polish border, resources in hand. The Jewish Federation of Cleveland raised over $3 million to help, and Heller wanted to be on the front lines witnessing it.
It was women and children, and what they were coming across with, one suitcase, maybe a shoulder bag. It was heart-wrenching to see these people fleeing a war and coming to safety, but with a very stoic look on their face, a look of uncertainty, and to be able to witness that firsthand was something that I'll never forget.
The men stayed behind to fight with the military. For many, the images are haunting reminders of the Holocaust, but Heller says it's important to see a bigger picture.
I'm very careful not to draw comparisons to what occurred to the Jewish community in World War II and the Holocaust, because I wasn't there, and it's not fair to compare it. All I can tell you is the human suffering that's going on right now is a challenge to our generation, and we need to step up and make sure that we learn from mistakes of the past and that we have opportunities to take care of people when they're refugees.
And for those in the Jewish community now fleeing Ukraine, this time there's a destination for freedom.
It would have been in World War II. You had the Jewish Agency, you had JDC, but you had no Israel. And now there's an Israel. There's a place for Jewish people that are displaced to go. There's a welcome place for every Jew that wants to go. And so it was really heartwarming to see the Israeli government set up an office in a hotel in Warsaw processing applications for people to move to Israel.
Volunteers from Cleveland were among those tirelessly working to rescue people from the incessant bombing.
You're working 24/7, and when some of the heroic stories that we heard of people going into Ukraine, paying to get an ambulance and bringing elderly out from Kiev and bringing them to safety, is just traumatic. We actually had the opportunity to meet an elderly man and his wife, and that they couldn't even speak. They were so traumatized just with the displacement. But to know that they were in safety and to know that they had the ability now to get medicine, which is something that was sorely needed at the time that we were there.
And what struck Heller most was the fact that, unlike in decades past, he witnessed people from all backgrounds coming together to help people in a desperate time of need.
We were there visiting the work of the Jewish community, but the Jewish community wasn't asking people whether they were Jewish. The Jewish community was asking whether people were human, and they were taking care of everybody that came across the border. And to me, that was really humanity at its best.